So, you're a university student, right? You're looking at this whole landscape of programming languages, and you're thinking, which one is actually going to get me a solid career? I totally get it. That choice feels massive. Today, we're going to cut right through all that noise and focus on Java. We'll talk about why this language, which has been a rock in this industry for decades, is still one of your absolute best bets for 2026 and way, way beyond. So, let's just dive right in. Here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to tackle the why. Why is Java still such a powerhouse? Then we'll get into where it's actually used in the real world, what tools you absolutely need to know, and a super practical learning path. We'll finish up by talking about building your first real project and, the big one, how you turn all that hard work into your first job. All right, Section 1. Let's just get right to it and address the elephant in the room. You've got all these flashy new languages popping up all the time. So, why in the world would you bet your career on Java in 2026? That's a totally fair question, and we're going to dig into it right now.
You know, I see this all the time. Everyone's talking about Python for data science or JavaScript for web dev. It's so easy to get that feeling, that fear of missing out. The pressure you're feeling isn't just about landing a job. It's about building a career that's going to last. And yeah, that choice can feel absolutely huge. So let me just be completely direct with you. After nearly 3 decades, a career in Java is still one of the most stable, reliable paths you can take in software engineering. Seriously, from Silicon Valley to London to Bangalore, the demand for good Java developers is just relentless. And honestly, there's absolutely no sign of that slowing down.
Okay, so where does all that stability come from? Well, to really get that, you have to understand where Java actually lives. We're not talking about small websites here. We're talking about the heavy-duty digital backbone of the entire global economy. Just take a look at these industries. We're talking banking, healthcare, telecom. These are fields where a system going down isn't just an inconvenience. It's a full-blown crisis. They all run on Java because it was literally built for this kind of thing, for reliability, for security, and for handling the massive scale needed to manage millions of people and their data. In this slide, this really puts that scale into perspective. Just try to imagine an online bank processing thousands, maybe tens of thousands of transactions every single second. There is absolutely zero room for error. That's the high-stakes, high-performance world where Java doesn't just work, it absolutely excels.
And this really gets to the heart of what being a Java developer is all about. You're not just writing lines of code, you're an engineer. You're building the kind of robust, scalable systems that pretty much power our entire modern world. Okay, so hopefully you're sold on the why. Now let's get into the what. What's actually in the toolkit of a professional Java developer? Let's break down all the essentials you're going to need to know.
At the absolute core of everything Java is the JVM, the Java Virtual Machine. The easiest way to think of it is like a universal translator. It lets you write your code one time, and then that code can run literally anywhere, on a Windows server, a Linux machine, in the cloud, you name it. For huge companies that have all sorts of different systems, this write once, run anywhere philosophy is an absolute game changer. It's also a genius at managing memory for you, which is just critical for keeping big systems stable. Now these skills, these are what take you from being a junior coder to a real enterprise pro. You've got things like concurrency, which is basically just a fancy way of saying you're letting the system do a bunch of things at once, kind of like a busy restaurant kitchen handling dozens of orders at the same time. Mastering stuff like this, plus performance tuning and really solid testing, is what keeps those critical banking systems from ever going down.
And let's talk about the tools of the trade, because you're not going to be building this stuff from scratch. You'll be using incredibly powerful frameworks like Spring Boot to build things fast. You'll use libraries like Hibernate to talk to databases without a fuss. And you'll use build tools like Maven or Gradle to keep all your projects neat and organized. This is what the modern Java world looks like.
So you know the tools you need, but how in the world do you actually learn them all without getting completely lost? Well, let's lay out a really clear, structured learning path that'll take you from writing your very first Hello World to being totally ready for that first job interview.
Here it is, your roadmap. You start with the absolute fundamentals, the core language itself. Then you get comfortable with the ecosystem tools. From there, you pick one key framework, like Spring Boot, and you master it. Once that foundation is solid, then you can go deeper into the advanced stuff. And what's the golden rule through all of this? You need to be building projects at every single stage.
Listen, I cannot stress this enough. The theory you learn in university is important, but coding is a hands-on skill. It's like learning a musical instrument. The single best way to get good is by doing it.
You have to get your hands on the keyboard and just start building stuff, even tiny little things. That is where the real learning, the stuff that sticks, actually happens. And that's the perfect segue into projects. Because your portfolio of projects, that is your resume. It's the physical, tangible proof that you can take all that theory and turn it into something real and useful. It's what's going to make you stand out from all the other grads when you're applying for that first role.
And look, you don't need to go out and build the next Google. Start small, with something you can actually finish. Build a simple API that pulls weather data. Create a basic system to manage books in a library. Feeling a bit more ambitious? Try building a simple CRM tool. These aren't just make-believe student projects. They are just smaller versions of what professional Java developers build every single day.
All right, we're in the final stretch. You've learned the skills, you've built a few cool projects. Now, how do you cross that finish line and actually land your first job? Let's talk about how to launch your career. First things first, you need to understand the landscape. A super common interview question is, so, why would you use Java for this system instead of, say, Python? This slide is your answer. Java is engineered for massive, high-performance systems where reliability is everything. Python is fantastic for quick development, data analysis, and scripting, but for the core platform of a major bank, you need the industrial-strength robustness of Java. It's all about picking the right tool for the job.
And please remember this, your technical skills are just the ticket to get in the door. They're maybe 40% of the whole picture when it comes to long-term success. Just look at this breakdown. Continuous learning, being part of the community, and your soft skills, how you communicate, are just as critical. A truly great career is built on a whole lot more than just code.
So, what are your action items? What can you do right now? Start applying for internships today. Go to local tech meetups, even if they're virtual. Find a Java project on GitHub and try to fix one tiny bug. The Java community is absolutely massive and incredibly supportive. You have to tap into that. Find a mentor. I'm telling you, these steps will launch your career faster than any textbook ever could. And here's maybe the most important takeaway of this whole thing. Your degree is the starting line, not the finish line. Technology moves at an incredible speed. The developers who have the most successful, rewarding careers are the ones who never, ever stop learning. You have to stay curious, stay hungry, and always keep building your skills. I know it can feel like a mountain to climb, but just remember, every single expert you look up to started with a simple Hello World program. You are not on this journey alone. The Java ecosystem is absolutely filled with amazing resources and a huge global community that genuinely wants to see you succeed. So I'll just leave you with this question. With Java, you'll have the power to build the kind of secure, high-performance systems that our entire world really depends on. So the only question left is, what problem are you going to solve? Thanks so much for your time today.